After 10 years, my family heartlessly cut me out of our annual reunion, but when they arrived at my new house after next, my name is Julia and this is the account of how I finally faced the people who thought they could erase me. They absolutely did not expect me to open that entrance. 11 years. 11 years of absolute quiet of being, cropped from the photographs, omitted from the gatherings, whispered about as though I were a blight on the family's reputation. 11 years of their yearly gatherings where my seat remained vacant not because I was gone but because they refused to recognize me. And now they were right here standing on the portico of my new residence, my residence. Their faces were ashen, their eyes rapidly scanning the granite columns and the well-kept lawns that shouted of prosperity they never believed I would possess. When I pulled the door inward, I offered no smile. I allowed the silence to linger. I let the burden of those years hang between us like fog. Then, with a composure they could not have foreseen, I stated, "You finally located the location. Too bad it is no longer your privilege to step inside." I was not always the pariah. There was a period when I truly believed in Sunday meals and family portraits and laughter near the hearth. I thought allegiance was without conditions. However, in my family, allegiance was merely a transaction. My sibling Riley, the preferred son, purchased it with obedience, my cousins with compliments. Me, I had the boldness to aspire to something different, to construct a life outside the strict blueprint they enforced on everyone else. For that I was labeled the difficulty. The definitive blow came a decade ago, a summer I will always recall. I drove 3 hours to the lakeside property for our regular get-together, a custom, a solemn vow. Yet when I got there, the entrance was locked. Faint but unmistakable laughter drifted from within. I called their telephones. No response. It was not an oversight. It was a communication. "We do not want you here." The pictures appeared on the social platform the very next day. Everyone smiling on the wharf. Everyone apart from me. My designation was not included. My attendance was never noted. It was as if I had vanished. That was when the pattern became impossible to deny. The birthdays without telephone calls, the nuptials without formal invitations, the digital group conversations. I was mysteriously left out of. Exclusion was not accidental. It was by design. Nevertheless, I did not collapse. I examined their cruelty like an architectural plan. I grasped their pecking order, their reliance on one another, their weak egos. I recognized something crucial. They did not expel me because I was weak. They expelled me because they feared what I might become without their control. So I allowed them to assume they had succeeded. I stopped seeking their acceptance. I ceased begging for small crumbs of fondness. I quit arriving uninvited. Instead, I focused internally, concentrated, made plans. Every slight, every empty chair at a family meal became my drive. I operated in private, constructed in the shadows, honed myself into a person they would not recognize. I did not just climb. I constructed my personal stairway, layer by layer, investment by investment. They did not witness it unfold, because they never glanced in my direction, putting the plan at no action. Years went by and so did chances. I accepted the occupations no one in my family had faith in. I invested money when they scoffed at me. I worked while they drank. I listened while they boasted. And gradually, silently, my existence transformed. The critical moment arrived when I acquired the residence. Not simply any residence, the residence. The sprawling property on the peak, the one my uncle Thomas used to indicate during car trips, saying, "Now that is genuine wealth. That is the kind of dwelling our kin deserve." Except it was not theirs. It was mine. I did not announce it. I did not brag. I waited. Because retribution is not accomplished with noise. It is accomplished with quiet and perfect timing. The day they appeared, I knew the information had circulated. Relatives such as mine thrive on loose talk. Someone had whispered, and inquisitiveness drew them to my entrance like insects to a bright light. They arrived dressed for negotiation. Phony smiles that did not meet their gazes, compliments dripping with resentment. My mother Beverly's voice was frail. "We did not realize you lived here. What an amazing development." I permitted them through the property gates but not across the entryway. I let them experience the separation, the transparent barrier between us. Then I spoke it calmly, deliberately, every syllable a cutting edge. "You declined to have me at your dining arrangement for 11 years. This dwelling, this existence, it is my dining arrangement now. And there is no place remaining for any of you." Their expressions crumpled. My brother Riley's arrogant grin vanished. My mother Beverly's eyes became watery. My father Andrew clenched his jaw. For the first occasion they were the ones who were barred. Final outcome and emotional release. They departed in silence, their steps heavy against the stone walkway. I did not observe them leave in their vehicle. For the first occasion they were the ones who were barred. Final outcome and emotional release. They departed in silence, their steps heavy against the stone walkway. I did not observe them leave in their vehicle. I closed the entrance, sealed away their presence, and stood in the residence they claimed I would never earn. That night I poured myself a tumbler of white wine, sat near the window, and thought of the vacant seat at their reunion table, the one they had designated for my non-existence. Now it was their opportunity to experience it. Because the reality is I did not require their reunion, I constructed my own. And when they showed up at my house pale and shaking, they ultimately comprehended I had not been excluded. I had risen above. Subscribe now and be part of the secrets we reveal, only on Home Exposed.